Obviously, I was happy to get a lot of guys minutes. I figured there was no use playing Donnie in the second half. I had to play him the whole first half because the other two guys kept fouling. So he got enough out of tonight, and chance to get Trent a lot of minutes. He's a young guy. He's got to learn. He's not going to make the NBA in one night. He puts too much pressure on himself. He's a great kid though, and he's going to be a great player. He's just got to really put weight. Every time he shoots the ball, he's got too much. He wants to play well so bad. That's a good thing. Because you can deal with a guy that cares too much. It's the guys that don't care that get you fired. So Trent cares. So it's good to get him a lot of minutes, get him out there, because you're going to realize that you're going to have nights. Tyler was 1 for 7 at San Diego State. It just happens. Tonight he's 8 for 10. So everybody's still a work in progress, guys. I know the score got out of hand. At some point we were up almost 40. But that being said, we're up 43. But that being said, he does a great job coaching. So, like, they don't just come, what I'm pointing to, they don't come down and just throw one pass and shoot it. So they come down and run a play, and then it don't work, then they run another pick and roll. Everything they do, they make you defend. Now, when we broke down, they couldn't shoot. They couldn't hurt us when we did break down. So we got a lot of good, I know this is what are you going to get out of tonight? A lot. Because they executed, they found the open man a lot. We had some breakdowns caused by their organization and their coaching and their execution. They just, when it happened, they weren't able to make us pay enough to stay in the game. They just weren't able to make us pay. So, that being said, got to give our guys a lot of credit. They come out ready to play. It's been hard for us. AP's been out. His knees are bothered him. Obviously, Eric's out. Donnie got sick, missed a day. So I know Jaime and Tiger would laugh if they saw one of our practices in the last week, because it's nowhere near what it used to be. We just don't have enough bodies. So just try to do a lot of teaching without a lot of wearing Tyler and Sky and them guys out, because it's a long year. Obviously happy with Xavier Booker. I know you probably want to ask about him.
Donovan, where is he in defense and reducing turnovers? I know those are two areas you're
Yeah, well, he's 8 assists and 1 turnover tonight. So he had 3 deflections. I told him get a foul just to show me you care about defense. He's like a coach, so he knows I'm kidding with him, but at least he got a foul. He didn't get any at San Diego State. Get a foul. So no, he's improved immensely. But it's the real running hasn't started yet. What I tell him on this team, he does not need to be Superman. He doesn't need, and I think there's times, because he had to do it at times last year for his team, he had to kind of try to put the cape on. And there'll be times maybe he has to do that here, but Sky Clark is as good a college guard as you're going to play with. I told you guys last year it was coming. Can't imagine what that kid's been through. And now that he's back home in California and he's got his personal life settled, sadly so, with the passing of his dad, Kenny, but his family closer, his brothers and sisters are closer, and he can just focus on basketball. He can score whenever he feels like it. I don't even need to run a play for him.
And Eric Freeney off the bench had some good moments.
Yeah, Free's a young kid. He's sick. One thing about Free's tough. He has 6 deflections. He had a great defensive play, 2 steals and a block shot. So it's just, with this team, it's going to be hard for him to get a lot of minutes. But when he gets his minutes, he's got to just make open shots and play great defense and rebound. But our rebounding was obviously way better tonight than it was at San Diego State. Now, obviously, San Diego State's more athletic. But I know, Coach Turner's upset I talked to, at the half court, he has a lot of pride, as he should. He's done an unbelievable job. He's a great coach, but the backboard obviously is what he's upset about, and it's what I'm most happy about. I worry at times, we're relying on just scoring with one shot because of our talent. So we got to keep, we had 21 offensive rebounds. Jamar showed you what I've been, he's got 13 and 10, 3 steals.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Jamar. How helpful is it to have someone who rebounds the position so well?
Well, it's great let me tell you about, with Jamar Brown, you never have to coach effort or attitude. And I'm talking to the maximum. His effort, like some guys, they'll tell you, I play hard, but if you watch them, you would think, well, he plays about 80%. Jamar Brown plays at 100%. Like I could not ask him to play harder than he plays. Okay, like these guys just walked in, they both need to play harder on defense, and they can. Jamar can. He can play smarter at times, but his effort is always maximum, and his attitude is always as good as you could ever ask for. For somebody in life, not just basketball, he's just an unbelievable person.
Tyler scored 12 points to end the first half. I think that it was in the...
I told him it was about time he made a shot. I mean, I've been working with, so when he gets his ass up here, I want you to tell him. I want you to ask him who worked with his shooting in between San Diego State. I had told the assistants, stand down, the big dog's going to take over.
I'll ask him that.
Yeah.
But that came in a lineup where the big men on the court were him and Brandon Williams. How did you feel about how that lineup performed?
I mean, we can play it when we need to. Brandon has really improved. He hasn't played that many minutes, so he was getting tired. But he's 7 rebounds. He's all over the place. So I think that lineup's a little small to play against some teams. We were able to get away with it because we had some foul issues. That's really the only reason we were doing that. I thought we had some foul issues.
Coach, at one point you were 50% from the three-point line. What can you say about shooting from the outside, especially when the big guys are getting involved?
Yeah, look, well, first of all, both our big guys can shoot. And, in a horse game, they're as good as some of these other guys, or better. Because here's the thing, especially in Book's case, nobody's going to go, with him playing the 5, this is what, there's advantages. Like Ty told, Tyler, I want to play more 4. I said, that's great. The problem is just know you ain't going to be as open as much. Okay, because when you play the 5, most big guys, centers, are going to let you shoot. So Book's going to be he's going to be more open than he ever was at Michigan State when he played the 4. And you saw it tonight. And we told him it was going to happen and to let it fly. We practiced that. So with Tyler, he's still kind of figuring out where his shots are going to come from at the 4. He's got to have more movement and getting himself open. He's got to free somebody else to get a double, so then he's open on the pop. And then I think we got to add for both those guys. Look, you can only work on so many things. So we've been trying to work on our flow and our half-court offense. But because the way we play defense, they're not getting a lot of post-ups in practice. We're going to need that for both of them. Like where we know, hey, this guy can't guard Book in the post, or this guy can't guard Tyler. We're going to need to be able to get the ball pointedly inside in a half-court set, knowing that it's an advantage for us. And we haven't done a lot of that in practice, but we need to get better at it.
Just checking on Eric Daly. Is he going to be good to go for the season opener?
Well, he's going to, I would say he was on the court today, and it's just day by day. Johnny Rambo, day by day, man. He's day by day. So I won't let him play until I feel like he's comfortable. And he needs to feel comfortable. I mean, there's just no point. It's a long season. We got a lot of guys. What's tonight? We open Monday. I'd say he's doubtful. Because we got off and then 4 off Thursday, Friday, so we got 4 practices to get him ready. And I don't know if that's enough. I just don't know. The guy's he's too big a part of our team. As good as we look at times, you got to remember he's not out there. not only is he not out there as a really talented player, he's not out there as a guy that knows how to play at UCLA. You know, that's where Jamar's done such a great job, because he looks like he's been in our program. But, yeah, I would say doubtful.
Did he suffer a setback at all, or is this just
No.
a progression?
Well, so what happens, he strained his knee. He didn't, you know, there's no structural damage. But when you have a bone bruise and there's swelling, so you can't really advance him until he can do stuff without the knee swelling. It's pretty simple. So, you know, it's just based off of his, you know, what he can handle. And if there's days where he had swelling, you back him down. But he's progressing. Now, he's kind of at a point where he's starting to really progress. That's why I say no. I won't say no, but I'd say doubtful.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys.